Hello Muggles and welcome back to a brand new episode of my Harry Potter Kitchen, the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter universe, making a recipe for all the fun food and drink featured inside. If you missed last week's recipe for our Hogwarts inspired homemade crisps, then make sure you check out the link in the description to catch up. But let's see what's waiting for us today. My Harry Potter Kitchen is dedicated to you hardcore Harry Potter fans, so if you are a fan of the series just like myself, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every week when there's a brand new video. But without further ado, let's see what recipe we have waiting for us today. Okay, so Vernon has lost it and is now rowing his family across the river as far away as he can get from everyone else. So we're going to jump over to the next chapter, chapter 4, The Keeper of the Keys. And we've just been introduced to Hagrid as he barges his way into the hut and is now asking for a cup of tea, but of course we've already made that, so check out the links down below for Aunt Petunia's tea. He has also just spotted Harry and he has got a birthday present for him, and I think that could be our next recipe. Harry opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a large, sticky chocolate cake with Happy Birthday Harry written on it in green icing. Looks like we're going to make another cake. For this recipe, you will need 400 grams of dark muscovado sugar, 120 grams of cocoa powder, 220 grams of plain flour, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 225 milliliters of buttermilk, 175 milliliters of vegetable oil, 225 milliliters of milk, 2 eggs, and a tablespoon of vanilla. To make your icing, you'll also need 6 ounces of butter, 12 ounces of icing sugar, a tablespoon of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and pink and green food colouring. Now, yes, there are quite a few ingredients here, but it's definitely worth it for how incredible this cake tastes. And it's Harry's birthday, so we have to splash out just like Hagrid did. Speaking of which, I've got a little bone to pick with the creators of the film because they made it look like Hagrid couldn't spell by the icing on that cake. But here, in the book, it is spelt just fine. Justice for giants. Hagrid's well smart. To begin, you'll need to combine all of your dry ingredients in a bowl. That's your sugar, cocoa powder, plain flour, baking powder, and salt. Add your buttermilk, oil, and milk together into a jug and then whisk it until well combined. Make a well in the middle of your dry ingredients and then pour your liquids into the centre. Add in your eggs and vanilla extract and then mix it through until well combined. Grease and line 3 shallow cake tins with butter and baking paper and then add your cake mixture in. I use an ice cream scoop to make sure each layer is even, and then pop them into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 35 minutes. Once your cakes are cooked, a skewer should come out clean, so you can test them and then pop them to the side to cool. Now, although the book tells us that Happy Birthday Harry is written in green icing, it doesn't actually say what the rest of the cake looked like, so we're gonna revert to a bit of movie magic here to bring it to life just like you would have seen in the film. Next, it's time to make your buttercream icing by placing room temperature butter into your mixing bowl with a few tablespoons of icing sugar. You want to add the icing sugar slowly, just enough to make sure the mixture doesn't curdle. Add in your milk and vanilla extract and then whisk for 2 to 3 minutes until nice and smooth. Now it's time to add in the rest of your icing sugar, whisking again for another 1 to 2 minutes until light and fluffy. You can then split the mixture into 2, dyeing the majority of it pink for the outside of the cake, and a smaller portion green for the lettering. Once the cakes are cool, you want to level them off and then place the first layer down onto your board. Spread an even layer of your pink buttercream icing over the top and then sandwich your next cake layer over that. Repeat the process until your final cake layer is stacked. We then want to crumb coat the outside of the cake so we trap all of those chocolate flakes in place. Spread a thin layer of your pink buttercream around the cake, making sure you get as smooth an edge as possible, and then pop it into the fridge to chill for an hour. Once the cake is firmed up, you can then repeat this process with a second, thicker layer of your pink buttercream. Whether you're using a spatula or a cake scraper, the best thing to do to make sure you get a nice smooth finish is take your time. As long as your crumb coat layer is nice and set, you can keep on going until you get the perfect finish. Start applying your buttercream to the sides, smoothing it down, and then work your way to the middle across the top, making sure you get some nice crisp edges. Pay attention to keeping the sides and top as straight as possible, and then pop it back into the fridge to set once you're happy. Now all that's left to do is for us to finish the cake with Happy Birthday Harry. Now, being someone who is quite used to decorating cakes, this bit was actually a struggle for me because I wanted to make it look as rough and homemade by Hagrid as possible, so I had to practice a few times on paper, which is probably good because I managed to spell birthday wrong. Even this test version came out a bit too neat, so I made sure I roughed it up even more for the final version. To prepare your piping bag, get your piping tip. I've used a thin writing nozzle, and place it on the end of your piping bag. Place your finger in the position where the piping tip meets the bag, and this is where you need to cut. Cut straight across at this point, and then drop your piping tip into the middle of the bag, pushing it through until it fits snugly on the end. Then you want to fill the bag with your icing and push it through until it just starts coming out of the end. Take as much time as you need to pipe the letters on top of your cake. I like to start in the middle to make sure it's as centered as possible, and then work your way up or down. Once your message is complete, you are good to go. So grab a knife, cut a slice, and dig in before Dudley can get his hands on it. So happy birthday, Harry! That is how easy it is to make your own Harry Potter inspired chocolate fudge cake at home. If you want to try out the recipe, let me know down in the comments what you thought. Hit the like button on the video, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there is a brand new video. That's all for now, but I will see you next week.